Hi, virtual BGCMC. I'm Miss Christina, and for this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about mood boards. What is a mood board, and how do you make one? So, if you've never heard of a mood board before, it's basically a collage of images that give you inspiration for a certain topic. So, a lot of people do make mood boards not just for something that has to do with a book or a movie or a character. You can also make a mood board for designing your bedroom because the point of it is to just have all your ideas in one place. Um, the way that I learned to make a mood board is by getting magazines and books that I don't mind destroying and cutting out pictures that I felt matched the vibe and the aesthetic of what I wanted to dive deeper into. So, for example, if I wanted to make a mood board for a character that I was creating, and let's say that she's a student and she lives in Washington, D.C., and she wants to become a lawyer, then I would go and I would try and find maybe things that felt like intelligent or smart. I would think of books. I would think of going to school. I would think of the time of year that it takes place. Maybe in Washington, D.C. in the fall, there's tons of beautiful autumn leaves. And so if I found pictures that made me think of those things, I would cut them out and I would paste them on like a post-it board, or just a regular piece of paper also works. And I would collage them all together, and when I would look at it, I would feel the essence of my character. I would feel inspired by these images, and it helps me to be able to take the next step in my creative process. So if I wanted to start to write a story for my character or build the world of my character, then I'm a visual learner. And so a mood board really helps me to be able to look at something physically and say, I really like that. I really like that image of the leaves. And I really think that she would be really into books and she would love to read. And so I like that picture of the bookcase and the library with the tons and tons and tons of books stacked up together, and that's a place that I can picture her spending a lot of time in. And so if that was my mood board, I would feel really like all of my ideas were in one spot. I could refer to it when I was writing for my character. I could, sometimes I can get so deep into something and forget, like, what was it that I wanted to do for my next scene, or what was it that I thought that really mattered to her. Let's refer back to my mood board, and you can always add to it as well. It doesn't have to be completely done at any point. You can always refer to it and add to it, or you can take things away from it. And what's helpful to look for are colors or color palettes. Try to think of when you're about to paint a room. They have the different colors all together right here. I like to look those up. And a sample, I think that's what it's called. I like to look those up because it's kind of like, yeah, you could call it blue, but it's all these different kind of shades of blue. And so I like finding those and putting those on my mood board. But colors in general, for me, they make me feel, different colors make me feel different emotions. And if it's the same for you too, then you can draw a lot of inspiration from looking up different colors and seeing how they make you feel, and if they make you remind you of your character or your story, and that's great. You should include colors. You can also think of weather, the changing of the seasons, where they look in different parts of the world. You can look at places. Are you where you are, your hometown? Are you somewhere completely different? Are you on another planet? Like, sometimes those things are hard to build from the ground up. So when we look at pictures of different planets or different places and stuff like that that we're not familiar to, they become more familiar by drawing inspiration from them. Colors, weather, places. You can also think of objects or people that you can draw inspiration from. All of those things are so great to put on your mood board. So I made a mood board for Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, which is a book that we read in our virtual book club class. And I didn't have the materials to make it like a physical like board of it. But I'm also not willing to part with any of the magazines or books that I have that I could cut into. But if you are, I really, really encourage you to make a physical one. But that's why we also have online resources as well. So I made mine electronically, and I'm gonna show you my mood board for Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief. Hi there. This is my mood board for Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. And I made this electronically online, but I really do recommend, if you're willing to part with some magazines that you have at home or books with pictures in them, and you're willing to cut those pictures out and paste them, and if you have a poster board or just a regular piece of paper will do, I recommend that you take those physical images that you found on your own and paste them together, kind of collage them over each other so that you can pick where you want them to go on your board, and just kind of see what goes what looks good next to each other. And so it's all totally up to you. When I make it electronically, I don't necessarily get to choose what goes where, but I didn't have any magazines or books that I was willing to part with to cut things out of. But I think a physical mood board is awesome because you can feel like the inspiration hit you when you flip through a page and then you see something that you like and you cut it out yourself. It's kind of more of a more physical, like you're really putting together your own unique art piece. But I wanted to show you anyway what my mood board would look like for Percy Jackson. And it would be better if I had made one physically, but I wanted to show you what I chose and why I chose things for my mood board. So we can see here, this looks like a minotaur, like Grover is in the book. So a kind of half goat, half human here. We have the trident for Poseidon. I have just blues and grays because when I read the book, that's what I picture in my head, is that color scheme. And of course I have a lot of water imagery because, spoiler alert, Percy's dad is the god of water. And this one's a little bit darker than this one, you know, but this one was really textured and pretty, you can see. I think it's an art painting. I have images of New York because the story starts out there, and this one, see, is pretty gray, so I liked that it went with my color scheme. And then they also traveled to Los Angeles in the book, so I found this picture as well. And of course, I had to have a lightning bolt and some lightning imagery here. I think that that's a lot more interesting to look at than this one. But I liked them both, so I put them both on there. And I like when I look at this picture, I think of something maybe happening, like a storm is brewing, something is about to happen. Makes me think of the characters that are going through something. This is inspired by Camp Half-Blood. It looks like just a signs at your regular old summer camp. So when I was trying to pull photos, I thought of Camp Half-Blood. I thought of what I thought it looked like. And you can see this is kind of like a lake with some tall trees. It reminded me of maybe of a summer camp. Some more signs here. Percy's mom in the books, he says that she made him blue food. So I found some blue pancakes, blueberry pancakes, I think, blue ice cream. And here, this was a really specific one that I found, but it looks like two people fighting kind of on in the air on this rickety kind of walkway here, which reminded me of the scene where he fights in Camp Half-Blood at the Capture the Flag scene. And we have some more Camp Half-Blood going on here. This kind of looks like, you know, summer camp kind of bunk beds with your friends. And I liked kind of how dark and moody it was, which reminded me of the whole color aesthetic. This is a young man looking like he's in a very powerful stance. He looks like maybe he just defeated something, he's accomplished, and he's in the water. And this just made me think of like Greek mythology, the Colosseum with the flowers over here. This is somebody inside a wave, a huge wave. Again, we've got some more water and Poseidon imagery, some stuff for New York. So this is about 30 images that I found on my own. And I didn't really try to second guess myself too much. If I saw something, then I saved it. And you can always go back and take stuff out. Maybe you don't feel as inspired by, you know, this summer camp kind of imagery. You can take it out. It's a great way to just put all your thoughts in one place. And if you're a visual learner, I'm a visual learner, it's really, really helpful to be able to look at something and match it to what you see in your head. Or maybe you think of something new when you see a photo, maybe you hadn't thought of before. And I just want to say again, a mood board can be for so many things. It can be for a book, it could be for a movie, it could be for your own original idea. It can be for a character that you love or a character that you just made up. And you want to start to write some dialogue, you want to start to dive deeper into the character, but you don't know where to start. Start with a mood board. Just pick images that you love that make you think of the world, that make you think of the story, that make you think of the symbols and the character, and just see what you can find and then put it all together in one place and think about how that may make you think of something else to do with the character, and maybe you think something's missing and you think, oh, you know what? There's a lot of blues and grays, but I think that there's other side to Percy. I think that he has maybe more of a fiery side to him or something like that when he's very protective of his friends. So maybe I then could look up some more reds, kind of fire imagery or something like that, some more imagery that has to do with his special bonds that he has with his friends, you know? So that made me think of something new. And I think that that's great because I can keep adding to it. And so it never even has to be done, your mood board. You can always add to it and also come back to it for inspiration.